The SOS was formatted incorrectly. That was the first problem. The second was that no one bothered to stop it. The Ithari Concordance had crafted their distress beacon according to ancient Alliance standards, broad spectrum, non-encrypted, and amplified by every relay they still controlled. It was meant to reach friendly neighbors first, the old signatories who had once sworn mutual defense. Those allies were gone. Some had fallen. Others had decided the Ithari were no longer worth saving. But the beacon kept screaming into the void, repeating its desperate plea without knowing who might be listening. That was how it reached Earth. High Speaker Lyrie stood on the balcony of the Concordant spire, gazing up at a sky filled with enemy fire. Ithari cities were grown, not built, vast lattices of living crystal and biometal spiraling upward from the plains. They burned beautifully when struck, collapsing into glowing cascades of ash. The evacuation corridors are failing, an aide reported, voice tight. The Kethraks are deploying siege spores. Atmospheric contamination is rising. Lyrie closed her eyes. The Kethrak swarm did not negotiate. They consumed. They stripped planets to feed their endlessly replicating warforms. Against such a foe, the Ithari, scholars, engineers, artists had never stood a chance. Any response? Lyrie asked quietly. The aide hesitated. None from our allies. Lyrie nodded. She had expected as much. And the unknown signal, she asked. The aide looked confused. Unknown. There has been interference, Lyrie said. Our long-range arrays detected a response ping. Brief. Unidentified. Hope flickered, dangerous, unwanted. Trace it, she said. The aide complied, then froze. It's far, they said. Extremely far. Origin. A yellow star system designated Sol. Species classification. Human, Lyrie whispered. Her tendrils tightened involuntarily. Humans were Deathworlders. Recent arrivals to the wider galaxy. Loud. Chaotic. Infamously aggressive when threatened. The Concordants had never been allied with them, only distant trade partners. The SOS was never meant for them. Disregard, Lyrie said quickly. They will not come. Even if they wished to, the distance. The sky changed color. Commander Jacob Reyes was not a patient man. He stared at the holographic projection hovering above the UNS Iron Resolve's tactical table, jaw clenched as casualty estimates scrolled past. Say it again, he said. Ithari Concordance under active extermination, intelligence repeated. Kethrak's swarm confirmed. Civilian population, approximately 9 billion. Estimated time to planetary collapse, 42 hours. Reyes exhaled sharply. Who else received the SOS? Multiple species, came the reply. None have responded. Reyes snorted. Figures. His executive officer shifted uneasily. Sir, the Concordance isn't part of our defense web. We have no treaty obligation. Reyes looked at her. They sent a distress call, he said flatly. That's obligation enough. She hesitated. Fleet Command will want. I am Fleet Command for this sector, Reyes cut in. Plot a jump. Notify all nearby battle groups. A pause. Sir, the XO said slowly, that will assemble a full strike fleet. Reyes's lips twitched, not a smile. Good. The Kethraks were celebrating. Their hive ships encircled the Ithari homeworld in a living ring of chitin and energy. Boarding spores rained down like meteors, burrowing into cities and birthing fresh horrors with every impact. Resistance was collapsing. Consume faster, the hive overmind pulsed across the swarm. This system must be stripped before rival predators arrive. Then the void screamed. Space itself tore open, not with the smooth distortion of regulated FTL, but with violent, ripping force, as if something enormous had forced its way through reality by sheer insistence. Human ships poured out. Not dozens. Hundreds. Carriers, destroyers, dreadnoughts layered in scarred armor, weapons already hot. Formation data flickered across Kethrax sensors, then vanished under a tidal wave of electronic warfare. "What is this?" the Overmind demanded. Before an answer could form, the first human volley struck. Kinetic slugs slammed through hive ships, punching straight through organic hulls and detonating inside. Energy beams followed, tuned frequencies ripping apart bioshields the Kethrax had believed impenetrable. They did not announce themselves. The Overmind pulsed, confused. They did not negotiate. The humans did not respond. They advanced. High Speaker Lyri watched the impossible unfold. Human warships moved with terrifying coordination, carving through the Kethrax ring with brutal efficiency. Fighter squadrons swarmed like angry insects, targeting vulnerable nodes, ripping apart spawn carriers before they could deploy. "They're dismantling them," an aide whispered. Systematically. Human ships did not scatter their fire. They prioritized. First the hive coordinators. Then the reproduction vessels. Then the mass carriers. Each kill sent ripples of confusion through the swarm as command signals fractured. "This is not a rescue," Lyri realized softly. "This is an extermination." A transmission broke through the chaos. "This is Commander Reyes of the United Human Fleet," a voice said, calm, steady, unmistakably predatory. "Ithari Concordance, we received your distress signal. Remain in shelter. Do not engage hostile forces." Lyri bowed instinctively toward the holo. "You came," she said. "We did not mean to involve." Reyes interrupted gently. "Doesn't matter who it was meant for." He paused. "What matters is that you were attacked." The channel closed. The Kethrax adapted quickly, or they tried to. They redirected biomass, reinforced hulls, attempted swarm tactics meant to overwhelm through sheer numbers. The humans countered by changing the rules entirely. Gravitic weapons crushed hive clusters into dense knots, which were then obliterated by antimatter charges. Boarding teams breached Kethrax vessels not to conquer, but to deploy tailored biotoxins that rendered reproduction chambers inert. "They are not fighting us," the Overmind pulsed in growing panic. "They are erasing us." The final blow came when a human dreadnought, UNS Black Verdict, drove straight into the heart of the swarm. At point-blank range, it unleashed a weapon the Kethrax had never encountered, a cascading energy pulse that disrupted hive neural links across the entire system. In an instant, the swarm went silent. Disconnected. Leaderless. Human ships finished the rest without ceremony. The battle ended as suddenly as it had begun. Wreckage drifted where a conquering force had once loomed. Human vessels repositioned into a defensive perimeter, their guns tracking empty space with tireless vigilance. Aid ships followed, medical frigates, engineering platforms, atmospheric stabilizers. They descended toward the wounded world without delay. Lyri stood before a projection of Commander Reyes in the Concordant Spire's ruined council chamber. "You destroyed them completely," she said. "The Kethrax have never been defeated so thoroughly." Reyes nodded once. "They won't be coming back." "Why?" Lyri asked. "Why commit such force for strangers?" Reyes leaned back slightly, considering. "Because you asked for help," he said. "And because predators like them only understand one answer." Lyri hesitated. "Our SOS, it was not meant for you." Reyes smiled faintly. "Yeah," he said. "We figured." He met her gaze. "Lucky for you, we listen anyway." In the cycles that followed, the Ithari rebuilt. Human engineers worked alongside crystal smiths. Human doctors learned Ithari biology in record time. Trade routes reopened under human patrols, and the Kethrax name faded into history. Across the galaxy, the story spread quietly, urgently, that an SOS meant for allies had reached Earth instead. That Deathworlders had answered without permission. That they did not ask whether help was deserved or profitable, only whether it was needed. And for the first time in generations, weaker civilizations looked toward humanity not with fear, but with hope. Because now everyone knew the truth. If your cry for help ever reached the wrong ears, and those ears belonged to humans, your enemies would be the ones to regret it.